Welcome back to my Pillar of Eternity Let's Play. This is episode 17. It took me like 16 episodes, but I finally think I found a way into Defiance Bay area. And that will help open up the way to the rest of the map. Find a replacement for another priest. I may just replace Jane altogether. But having at least 6 people, or 4, while I was checking the dungeons out in the beginning of the game was quite handy. Okay. I don't want to face you, enemies. Flee. Okay, a hunter and his...
Hush, Itumak. We'll just wait a little longer.
Zange, thriving woman dressed in skin hides, leans against the road marker. Her face is turned down, her eyes darkened by its strip of face paint. She sharpened bone, ale with scrimshaw hand in line. Her attention, however, is focused on a bare figurine between her hands. A large white-furred fox stand at her heels, look up at your approach.
Easy, Itumak. It's not him.
You seem lost. She looked at her and looked at you. I know exactly where I am. My friend is lost. Who are you aiming for?
Short version? I'm looking for a very, very old friend. I'm not sure what skin he's wearing now, but I'll know him when I see him.
Your friend is supposed to be standing around here. Your friend is supposed to meet you here?
That's what I heard. Of course, the man who told me so was carrying a staff he claimed was made from dragon bone, but I know whitewood when I see it. That should have been my first clue, but I had to try something.
Try something? Exactly what are you talking
The
about?
long version. Here we go. I'm from an island to the far south called Nasitak. I came here looking for a village elder, a man we knew as Persok. I'm a hunter back home, so tracking someone wouldn't normally be a problem. But Persok's trail is cold, to say the least.
Why can't you find him? There can't be that many people in Drywood. He died when I was still a young girl. Forgot to mention that part, did I? I'm looking for his latest reincarnation. Which could be. How long have you been looking for, Persok? Her green face, brow lower, and her compact muscular frame sag for just an instant 5 years. So you've been searching 5 years for a stranger you barely remember. Who could be anyone now?
That about sums it up.
Then it must be an important duty. I actually know how you feel.
Then you have my sympathies. Hopefully you've got a better lead than I do.
You mentioned earlier. How did that statuette figure into it? She adjusts the figurine on her trouser and raised it in a small flat palm, and carved in the shape of a bear, smooth down. The Polish idol worn to adore Matty along its arc. Back and avoid punches. A soft glow emanates from within.
Cute, isn't it? It belonged to Persok. Before he returned to the wheel, he left a splinter of his soul in it. Something to help us find him later.
As you hold it out, you feel a wisp of temptation. Not quite memory, but a trait of someone.
When I left Nasitok, it was completely dark inside. But as I've gotten closer to Persok, it's glowed steadily brighter. Since I've reached the Deerwood, however, it's gotten hard to read. Some days it flickers and goes dark. Others it shines nice and bright for a few hours. But most of the time it looks just like this.
What will you do now?
I can tell you what I won't do again. Rely on miracle peddlers. It was some so-called watcher who sent me to this crossroads in the middle of nowhere in the first place. I was on my way out of the Balmarsh when I heard talk of a traveling mystic who could supposedly see souls. I knew it was a long shot, but what did I have to lose? I went to see this fellow and gave him the Audra figurine. He made a big show of moaning and rolling his eyes, and after I'd given him 5 golden dukes to lift the shroud, he told me to seek the crossroads in the field between the wolf's lair and the twining trees.
Defiance Bay, local called the Currituck Wolfgren. Sound like he'd be fun to drink with.
He thought he was being vague, but I know the area well enough to recognize that he meant this place, right between Defiance Bay and Twin Elms. I had a bad taste in my mouth, but my coin was spent and I'd already left an arrow in his knapsack as a friendly warning. Told him I'd come back and leave him with another if it turned out he was giving me the runaround. I've been here a week now. Guess he had the last laugh after all.
What if I'm not too disappointed, but there's no chance. This thing would glow like a torch. May I see the figurine?
Why?
I'm a real boy.
You expect me to believe that? After the story I just told you?
What if I'm telling the truth? After 5 years, it's worth taking the chance.
Fine. But if you try to run, just remember that my arrows are faster.
You raise the arrow barrel, turning the light, and your eye catch a tiny glint scratch clean right away. You're standing on a cliff overlooking water, seeing through the eye that aren't your own. You catch the musk of bear amid the fresh scent of vegetation, and your heart beats. A little faster, you have to watch your step uphill. You'll look down long enough to see the sharp pear cliff drop into the water, hundreds of feet below you. I see a cliff high over the water. Does that sound familiar? Your question is greeted with shrug aside. Sniff freeze. Breathing deeply, you smell the salt air of whatever you're standing. Whatever Persok is standing must be near.
What are you talking about? What just happened?
I told you I'm a watcher. She blinks at you a few times, calculating. I know that sounds strange, but it's true.
You realize I've got no coin to give you, even if I did believe you.
Come with me, I got other business in the area. We can look for a Persok on the way. Having one healer in the party should be enough for the moment.
Ready, Watcher.
What equipment does hide armor and a double Stetson.
I'm here.
Point the way.
Can she call both back? I like this hunter's buff or animal companion so far. I think I have most of the in-game party members already, except for a few people. Astray. Astray Mets from Melis. As you near, you feel a vibrant history containing the essence of this woman's soul. Voices from the past seem to call out to you. You see a lavishly decorated room, all hung with tapestries ornate oil lamps creating warm and relaxing. There are several overstuffed couches covered with silk pillows and the elegant table in the middle of the room. This woman is seated at the table, sitting cross-legged from another woman. They are both well dressed, their style befitting the room they're in. The other woman, hair blonde, in stark contrast to this woman, black, and swept up on her head in a dramatic style. The women speak in an easy free tone, obviously familiar to the other woman. This is our text to speak, though they seem to be comfortable in another company. A strange nervousness surrounding the blonde woman's action. She occasionally betrays herself with a little giggle or stammer, hitching over a easy word as she speaks. Her demeanor swing from friendly to shy, back again with no word. This woman leaned back a little in her chair, stretched lightly. As she finished her stretch, she gently laid her hand next to the other woman's head, letting the fingers suddenly intertwine. The second woman stopped speaking mid-sentence, inhaled sharply, and turned red. She did not have her move her hand. The woman smiled, moved her hand further over the other, holding it. I think I get the picture where this is going. Holding it, she then moved around the table toward the blonde woman, whose face shows conflicting emotion of terror and lust. She giggled and pulled her hand over from under the other to bring it to her mouth. The red of her face deepening. This woman stopped looking down at her, eyes sparkling. She reaches out and pulls something from the blonde woman's hair, letting it fall around her shoulder. Then she leaned over, brushed her lips lightly over the blonde woman's cheek, resting her mouth against her ear. As she whispered, her hand moved lightly down the other woman's body to the waist. The blonde woman shuddered and leaned too. This sounds like a romance novel. Whoever wrote this did a good job. The blonde shuddered and leans into the hand, eyes closing, cheek pressing gently, lips still whispering at the woman, and swiftly removed the small bag from the other woman's belt and secreted it under her own cloak at the small of her back. Then she gently kisses the woman's cheek and sang again, the smile leaving her mouth. Oh, seems like a thief of some kind. As you kneel, you feel a vibrant You see a ship being tossed about storm-ravaged sea. The swells rise and fall, carrying the ship with them. As if ever toward the man standing on deck at the helm of the ship, while water whips around him. The crew moves about frantically, trying to keep the chaos under control. He barks orders at them, pointing where to go and giving each one a task. The men, while still visibly dressed, seem to calm down when they are given their order. He instructs the helmsman to resume his duties at the wheels and rushes to the aid of a crewman who is struggling with a rope attached to one of the sails. The ship crests a wave, going almost vertical in one direction, then immediately again in the other direction. Several of the crew are thrown from their feet, sliding across the deck as the ship is rocked. After a thrill, the ship returns to a relatively normal orientation. The man quickly scans the deck, counting silently. No one have been lost this time. Thankfully, he looked in the direction they're headed, seeing no repressive from the storm inside. His jaws squared and his upper lips stiffened. He returned to the helm and take the wheel again. A commoner, and most likely a commoner. Who is this person? You see a flurry of matted white hair and can freeze fire south before you see him. Cold and wide, his chew a writhing apple slowly discharging its barrel after into the jumble of ventures screaming their way towards him. Cold flames, vents from his nose, and apple seeds shoot out of the side mouths as he slung forward, ignoring the arrows and curses alike. A deliberate twist of his staff and a bullet of force guided the torso of one assailant, and another war blistered his throat as he launches into the mist, tearing their essence with his staff. Bleeding hand reaches for him and quickly falls north. Silence take hold as the tattered man gathers his pride, a basket of fresh fare. He hummed as he eats. Interesting. You like his fruit a lot. Welcome to Defiance. Defiance Bay. Watch yourself. In narrative.
Greetings.
You seem on edge. What's your? I'm looking for the Temple of Vodka. Not sure why you want to go there. He's like, isn't it the first fires you really want to see? Tell me about Defiance Bay. Sorry, but I don't have time to. But it seems like the dozen crackpot Wolfhan is stirring up trouble again. He'd be all too happy to give you one down the city, liberally flavored with dozen of propaganda, of course. You seem to be on edge. What's your problem? Thousands of them. Truth be told, we got refugees coming from all parts under some misguided notion that things are actually better here. That they can see somehow past us over. And they grow up with no prospect and no money, just end up making worse mess things. He look up and down, no fun. And good luck. Jessica. I'm looking for a Temple of Vodka. If you say so, it's in the first fire. It's just west of the Critical Keep. Let's see, where will I find that's the temple there.
Defiance Bay. The city at the heart of the Deerwoods Revolution now seems on the brink of another. Refugees line the streets, homeless and hungry, displaced by White One's legacy, hoping for relief within the city walls, and finding none. Dissidents congregate to protest and to heckle, calling for an end to animancy and the ouster of their duke. The city's militiamen cast fearful looks as they patrol the streets, their hands trembling at the hilts of their weapons. The capital of a country that had not long ago incinerated a god now appears to be a spark away from sharing the deity's fate.
Look like probably siding with the people in power would be the best thing for them. Even if it does harm the people at the time.
The city of Defiance, crown jewel of the Deerwood. If you ask the locals, anyway. On your word.
Oh my lord.
It's good to be on the road again. A wanderlust is nothing rare in the people of Raotai, but often I think myself alone in loving the land as much as the sea. What shall we see next, I wonder?
Do you know anything about this place? Copper Lane, I suppose. The gist is that you might well be tossing your coin into the street at the rock. You find merchants here along with blades for hire, the goose and the fox in the fair tavern, if you'd like to rest for a while. Oh, what else did I see? Warren arm crosses and his mouth is set in a grim frown as he watches the gathered protesters. He look ready to fight. He sizes you up. You're in town. You picked an interesting time to defiance Bay. All these refugees fleeing the frontier, finding legacy no better here. It's the Animanters. Morgan scorched them, and they nest in the city like grass. You mark my word. What are you doing out here? He gestures at the crowd, which buzzes with anger, trying to get folk to see Rita. We're in the middle of the crisis, and instead of purging the nefarious forces from our city, the duck is grunting Animanters. Animanters are not that bad. I mean, there are a evil bunch in there, but you're just being superstitious. The study of manipulation of ethics, which any sane person tell you is purview of the god. The ancient ladies had a sense to outlaw, which is the only good thing you can say about them. It's not like magic, chanting, or soul reading those cipher through. It's been around since the ancient Zen time, which is why you see Animanters tickling old magnificent artifacts. Cannon raised his fist to call his gravely into it. Half-truths. All. But he's an enthusiastic performer, I give him that. Trouble is, the Animators got no idea what half those artifacts actually do. Not that they admit to it. Our emphatic friend is correct about one thing at least. Tell me about the devil. We've been organized of an interested citizen to free Defiance Bay from the dangerous influence of Animators and the tyrants of the aristocrats who support them. I should probably talk to some of these aristocrats to see if I can help them out. At least I will be lining my pocket with some gold in the process. I have a bad feeling that if these protesters and their group do take power, things are going to be worse. Sometimes it's better to help the law and maintain what order there is. We're an organization of interested citizens who want to free Defiance Bay from dangerous influence of Animators and the tyranny of the always required to support them. We consider ourselves militia of sort, seeing as Crucible Knights are little more than a flock of peering nobles in training these days. You don't apparently know how law and order work in a city, people. Just like a militia that doesn't, except for the training and discipline and the code of honor. And we're always looking to expand. The more people see things, the better. If you have any interest in hearing more, stop by this stand sometime. The expedition is free. Lots of free thinkers in there. You can set straight all the nonsense the novels and writers you want to believe. Might even be some paid work for a motivated type. This is a marketplace. Oh, that's the hall that he was speaking of. Where's the inn? Oh, there. The Goose and the Fox. What an odd name. I can definitely see the is a mix between different cultures. There is the
Welcome.
the common room. Let's see, any... a lot of commoners in this area. It should be day... yeah, beginning to be nighttime when I did enter the city. The commoner and commoner. Nora? Let's see, what she have of use? Potion scrolls. What about weapons? A gun. Come to take a look. You won't find a finer collection of armor and weapon in Defiance Bay. Outside Sunlit, of course. But it's also so special about Sunlit. She operates in the expedition hall. He jerks his thumb over the soldiers. Shell's the best equipment in the city, but everyone keeps her on a short leash. Keep her fine inventory reverse for the charted expeditionists, member of the 12, anyone else who take a liking to. I don't have that much gold. What about armor? Plate armor? Like pride? If I let's see, the armor here is good for the most part. Blunderbuss, pistol, arquebus. And then what about the blunderbuss? Oh, this is a good amount of equipment that this person have. I have to save up my money. I should check the Hall of Expen. I should check this hall out first. Okay, what does Edar want?
Hey, the dozens. Pretty sure you won't find one among them who stood within 100 miles of that bridge when the Godhammer went off. Too bad, too. Assumed there'd be less of them.
Godhammer? That's what they call the bomb that blew up. Warden with. Wait a minute, don't know much about that. What do you call themselves the dozen? What'swell wouldn't stood outside Hallgate Citadel waiting for the Wade one to cross the bridge there. They had to hold him there long enough for Godhammer to detonate. What do you have gently done? Nothing serious, nothing I don't have a lot for. Anyway, there's other they like to take things into their own hand. Get ugly sometimes. We don't have them in the Yardvale, but they be right at home there. They pick the name so they could do what they want to feel like it was right. Got nothing to do with honor or sacrifice. Not like a group that should be taken out sometime in the future. Probably someone will pay good money for that as well. They like to invoke Margon too when they especially want to feel right. Somehow I don't think she's too impressed with that law. I'm sure she'd like to set them on fire anytime they use her name, but the gods probably got religion, that kind of thing. They probably do. People hide behind symbols so they can't be questioned. The duck, a reasonable man. Maybe while we're in Defiance Bay, we can get him to force people to call themselves what they are. Don't imagine they have many members that they call themselves the loudmouth sheep loudmouth sheep fuckers. That is quite a funny name, Edgar. True.
Of course.
If a group or a person have a very offensive or
The dozens may not like us foreigners much, but they certainly don't mind taking our coin.
Another good place. A well-groomed man stepped through the hall with a coffin swagger, a smug grin etched on his face. He flanked by 5 other hard-looking individuals. One of his companion eyes you for a moment before spitting a cue at your feet. Another pup come wandering in. I see. I just know that fine guys Giant Slayer run things around here. Never heard of them. His eye now. You'll have now. Stick around to find Bay and you do well again. Plenty of bounties go around, but they are the reason that Giant Slayer get the lion share. Remember that. A voice battles across. Enough jabber, fine. You got the job. Or talk about it. His jaw tightened. Right, that coin ain't going to collect itself. He looked at his comrades and jerked his chin toward the door. See you around, pup. That group seemed to have some seniority. This is a map. Look like I can steal something from there. A bunch of NPCs to talk to.
Well met, friend.
The woman looks up from polishing a dagger. Haven't seen you before. You headed out with a expedition company, or you're betting on one? How long have you worked at Amdestin? Tell me about the expedition. There's a group of adventurers that ventured into the wilderness. More than a few of them try their luck scouring the ruin. Most of them come back empty-handed, if they come back at all. I afraid not. See, they don't only do business with me. So long as I do business with them, they're good customers. But if you got on Osric good side, he may make an exception. Oh, I knew that was coming. This is a good point to end this episode. In the next episode, I will talk to Arthurus, and if I can, get to talk to the aristocrats about taking care of the Devon group. See you in the next episode.